everybody.
Hey!
Welcome to Punch and Roll, where your favorite audiobook narrators come together to play your favorite role-playing games in a celebration of the power of human storytelling. We are produced by PANA, the Professional Audiobook Narrators Association. PANA provides support for new and established audiobook narrators while raising awareness in the public consciousness of the importance of human narrators in storytelling. Learn more about them at pronarrators.org. Before we dive in with the official getting goings here, Jeremy unfortunately is having some travel delays, so Ulfgar Starmantle may be slightly delayed in joining us. But
hopefully the box fills soon.
Yes, indeed. Indeed. But into adventure we shall dive. Last session, we began our 4-part miniseries, Beneath the Library. And tonight, we have a very special guest joining this episode. They played Gaelish Tumbletook in the last season of Punch and Roll. Everybody say hi to Crystal Hammond.
Hello,
Hi, Crystal.
Hey, Crystal.
Hey.
We're going to be chatting more with Crystal during the break, but for now, let us get right to it. Ray, could you please give everyone a recap of last session?
From the diary of Eltorin Coldheart. It began as another ordinary day of research in the Great Library of Panaton. I was called to an audience with the head librarian along with some members of the City Watch, a human named Calden, a tiefling named Miss Kria, and a dwarf named Ulfgar. Quite the menagerie. We were asked to help recover books that had been going missing from the library, including the valuable tome Tales of the Urslord Dread, which had been stolen by a group of kobolds that escaped into the tunnels under the library. After following their trail into the disgusting sewers below, we were beset by a pair of kobolds who we quickly dispatched. The whole group contributed admirably, even Calden. From there, we found a sort of kobold classroom and quickly found the headmaster berating a mischievous student. We tried to reason with them, but in the end were forced to subdue them by force. We hoped that we could learn something from them about what had been happening to the library's books. But for now, my time is short. I will continue this journal soon.
I don't want to play D&D anymore. I want to listen to Ray. Just tell us the story of what we did. Just read the transcript of last session, Ray, and we'll all be good.
And can we gas him up a little for making that up like that? I mean, like the 10 minutes before we went on. That's some type of legend right
That
there.
was amazing. Amazing. All right. Now, one thing that maybe got left out was last session. Well, I understand because Eltorin doesn't have a lot of meta knowledge of the game. Last session, you in the chat, you helped us out by suggesting a special power for that kobold teacher. Keep that up. Keep those ideas coming, chat, and I will use them as I can. So with that said, players, if you are in the chat, please step out, and we will begin tonight's episode of Punch and Roll Beneath the Library.
Bum, bum.
All right, so here you are in the kobold teacher's office. You'll recall there's some artwork on the wall, little poster advertising a book sale from the Great Library, a poster with a very stern warning about various magical curses that might be placed on you if you don't return library books, and a gigantic painting of a fearsome-looking blue dragon, massive horn on its head, eyes that speak of penetrating and wicked intelligence, lightning arcing from razor claws as it soars above a blasted landscape of sand and rock. And there's a little plaque on the bottom of that painting that reads, Eastingul of the Urslord Dread. There are also 2 unconscious kobolds at your feet, and there is a teacher's desk on which you see an apple and a little box, some books scattered around, stuff you could investigate if you so chose. What would you like to do?
Eltorin would be happy to investigate the desk. He'll grab the apple and toss it to Calden.
Thanks. Oh, actually, if I eat this, can I get some of my health back?
You can certainly try.
Cal would like to carefully Actually, he's not careful. He's gonna
All right,
take a big bite of that thing.
Calton, your first instinct was the better choice. This was an apple gifted to the teacher by that troublesome student. As you bite
Right.
in, a little preloaded firecracker goes off. And I'd like you to take, please, 1d4 damage. So you take only 1 point of damage. Lucky for you. So 1 point of force damage as this thing just apart in your face. So you were now holding half an apple, and the rest of you see Calden's face just covered in smoke and apple bits.
Oh God, this is the
Always
worst
gotta-
apple I've ever had.
Always got to keep an eye on you.
Eltorin, what does the book say?
Yeah, what do I find on the desk here?
Yeah, so there's a tiny little box of red pencils that have been chewed on pretty heavily. There are a number of those other primers that you saw before, sort of the common as a second language sort of primers. And the big book, is a common as a second language instructor's textbook. Unfortunately, the main language of that textbook is Dwarvish. It seems to be a book for teaching dwarves common. And as you flip through it, you can deduce from a lot of the handwritten notes and the incredibly wrong things sort of written in that the teacher perhaps did not actually speak Dwarvish. So there was a lot of guessing as to as to what things in common mean and how common works. Some of the guesswork spot on, some of it way off. You can also see that there is a drawer in this desk that is locked as you sort of give it a little jiggle.
Calden, do you feel up for perhaps trying this drawer?
Yeah, let's give it a go.
Check and make sure that the student didn't get at the drawer too, perhaps.
Good idea. First things first is to check the desk for any sort of mischief.
Sure, make an investigation check, please.
While he's doing that, can we actually make sure to tie up the kobolds and make sure they're actually subdued for when they start waking up again?
Good idea. The investigation check revealed a 10.
A 10. You find no other untoward booby traps on this desk. I think that apple might have been the only one.
All right, it seems okay. I'm going to take a crack at this lock.
All right, give us a thieves' tools check, please.
Oh, that one is a 21.
Yeah, you don't even have to look. You're just like, ugh, simple. Yeah. And ching, it pops open and the drawer just slides open a little bit. Lock opened and no trap sprung.
All right, Cal would like to carefully slide it open and look at what's inside.
So there's a bunch of paper notes, some of which are carefully folded, some of which are crumpled up into balls. There is what looks like a little glass jar full of something candied. You'd have to look closer. And there's a small box with a various assortment of, it looks like sort of metal gears and gadgets.
Cal would like to carefully pick up the jar and lift it up for the others to see and say, what do y'all think this is?
So as you look it up and you look through, they sort of look like, you know what they are. They're grubs. They're little sort of mealwormy things that are covered in some sort of candied, some sort of like spun sugar kind of candied situation. So you got a jar of candy grubs.
Extra protein for you.
Say if Ulf was here, if he hadn't wandered off somewhere, I'd ask him if he wanted to eat one. Okay, what about... It doesn't look like the drawer has much. Do you all want to check this thing out? Maybe you can make hide or hair of it. There's lots of paper in here, but there doesn't appear to be anything interesting for our quest.
Is there anything written on the papers?
Let's have a look.
As you turn through the papers, you see most of them are confiscated classroom notes written in Draconic, which I think one of you speaks, right?
Eltorin speaks Draconic, yes.
Yeah, Eltorin, you're able to translate them pretty easily as being notes being passed and forth. Largely, it's, observations of the questionable nature of Mr. Skiz's personal hygiene. There's one that's like, do you think Grack likes me? Box yes, box no. It's that sort of thing that you're finding.
Nothing like. So did you go and find the vault of all the books yet?
Nothing like that.
It's
Nothing
down this
like
way.
that.
Found a lewd picture of the
hey.
teacher, but
Speaking of
not going
Ulfgar,
to help. Okay, did we bind up our two friends?
Yes, you did. And there is that box of metal gears and gadgets and whatnot still.
Yeah, I might be
still
able
there.
to make hide of that. I'd like to take a look at that box.
Sure, make another investigation roll.
All right. That is going to be a... Oh, it's a 7.
Well, that's fitting actually, because what you have is in this box you can tell that there's a couple of tools, but you're not sure what they are. There's a jar of some sort of black liquid. You're not sure what that is. And the little gears, there's a whole bunch of like little gears. Some are maybe the biggest one is the size of your fist. Tiny ones that are the size of like a fingernail. The markings on them are in Dwarvish, which as you don't speak Dwarvish, would be troublesome. But happily, it seems Ulfgar has just woken up from his nap. Welcome back, Ulfgar.
Ulfgar!
Right, I'm here. What's going on?
I've got some stuff with Dorvish on it. You want to check this thing out?
And
I think
as
I can
he's
help with that.
speaking to you, maybe you maybe the thing that aroused you from slumber was a little noise you heard, but his face is like that, like Merry and Pippin after they set off that firework, just like smoke stains blown back, chunks of some sort of fruit hanging off of his hair. Calden got into something.
Right, maybe let the professionals handle this then.
Yeah, could you check this out? I'd like to hand it over to Ulfgar.
Yeah, so Ulfgar, the metal tools, I think, since you are, proficient in Smith's tools, you recognize some of the tools. There's a couple of hammers in there of the sort of Smith might use, and then some smaller scale ones that you might use to work carefully with very tiny objects. So basically, there's a set of tinker's tools in there, and two heavy hammers that would be sufficient for large-scale metalworking. Then there's all these little gears and gizmos. The labeling is all in Dwarvish, but it's tough to make heads or tails of what it would do because it just says things like tab A or a little arrow that's like insert to flange B with a little arrow there. It's like looking at some IKEA furniture without the instruction manual.
Okay.
And the jar is definitely some sort of viscous, oily substance.
Well, I'm
Eltorin
not
will-
sure.
Eltorin will give Calden a cloth so he can wipe his face. Clean yourself up.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Cal would like to. Can I just hang on to this?
Please. Please.
Exit.
Well, it seems to be some sort of tools. It seems like it builds something, though I do not know. I don't know what it builds.
You think it was something that the young one was confiscated from him? It looks like a lot of stuff to, I don't know, build traps.
Could be. So you said the liquid is very viscous?
Maybe viscous isn't the right word because it's not sticky and gummy. It is oily. In fact, it's probably the opposite of viscous. It's incredibly slick.
Does it look
Definitely
like
some sort of
there's
lubricant.
anything in the room that looked like it had been mechanical or had been disassembled?
No, nothing.
Is there any other doors out of the room besides the one we came in from?
Make a perception check, please.
I can do that. 10.
10. No.
But it sounds unconvincing.
There's nothing on first glance. Eltorin maybe is a little more interested in looking at that dragon portrait. I think that would catch his attention and go
Perhaps.
investigate that a little more closely rather than
Sure.
really look around the room.
Sure,
Perhaps
go ahead and make an investigation check on that.
I can do that too. Actually, I'm trained in that. Doesn't help when you roll a 2.
Well,
That's a
well,
5,
perhaps
5 total.
Perhaps the reason that that you didn't really get a lot from the painting is you were distracted by that student kobold that had been knocked unconscious, beginning to stir and make some noise.
Oh, one of them's waking up. We need to. Let's see what we can. We should probably separate these two. Which one of us tied them up and how? I'm curious. I want to be real careful with that one. That one's real slippery.
Yeah, who did tie those knots, by the way?
I guess Eltorin, I talked about tying them up and nobody else spoke up, so I guess Eltorin must have done it.
All right, Eltorn, give me just a straight up dexterity check to see how adroitly those knots are tied, in case your kobold friend tries to challenge them.
Next up, I might double check.
Nat
those.
20.
Oh,
Nat 20.
all
No
right.
need for the double check.
So,
So 22 total if the Nat 20 is not good enough.
So my young kobold friend, as you are coming to, you sort of down on the side and you're looking at a lot of shoes, and man, your hands or feet are tightly bound.
Ah, rise and shine. Remember us?
What happened?
Oh, how the tables have turned.
Sure. You know, apple face.
All right, gang. What do we
Is
want?
there any more of them
What do we
bees
want to
left?
ask here? Say again,
So-
Wolfgar?
Are there any more of the bees left?
No, the bees have flown away.
So, we were talking about books. Do you happen to know anything about the library's books?
No. What are you talking about? No. No.
I seem to remember the professor saying something about us being here for the books. I think you probably know something.
I don't think I know anything.
We know
I
you're
am
lying. Should we do the old good cop, bad cop? Usually Miscreant is the bad cop. Pretty good at that. I think I might have the highest. Let's double check my sheet. Persuasion. So maybe, okay. I'd like to confer with the group here before I take any action and say something like, all right, look, I can try to talk to them. We can see what I can get out of it, but it really did not go well last time. But I don't have a lot of other cards to play. What do you all think?
Let's we've shown that we're strong enough to take them on. Let's see if we can't convince them to help us out this time.
Meanwhile, as they're chatting, Klaxon, is there anything you want to be doing?
I'm starting to straighten up and come over. You better do it, whatever it is, quickly.
I'm just
Okay.
right now
Okay.
I still try to out of sort some like working the knots, trying to get them undone, and obviously unsuccessfully.
Well, I don't know about obviously. Let's try a.
Jeez, oh,
You're
Pete.
tied. You're tied pretty tight.
I haven't said anything yet.
Give me a. You can either do athletics to try to break the rope, or dexterity to try to slip out of the knots.
Let's do dexterity. And that is a 21.
Excuse me?
Oh, you're almost there. As you guys come around to get ready to talk, you see the kobold about halfway out of the knots
That is
that you
wild.
guys have tied.
Wildly lucky on the front half here.
22, just barely.
Yeah.
What a
These are
lucky
the greatest
roll.
knots I've ever seen against the greatest knot untire I think I've ever seen.
May Miscria use an acrobatics to maybe lunge and throw a blanket on top of them?
Sure.
Did you have a blanket?
Athletics.
I guess
I do
maybe
have
in
a
the back.
blanket.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
is a total of 18.
18. All right. So just before the kobold's hands get released, you see Miscria dive from across the room, blanket out in front of her, and just bam, land right on top of your new kobold conversation mate here. So now Klaxon, you're there's a blanket and everything.
I'm so proud! What are you doing?
I mean, you could have waited. We could have talked this out.
We can still talk it out. Listen, we didn't come down here for trouble, but we are looking for some books that the library lost, which some kobolds came and stole. Maybe you're responsible for that, maybe not. But we do need to find them. So if you can help us point us in the right direction, we can just be on our way and you can get back to your lessons, as I'm
Your
sure you're
bees.
anxious to do.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. What do you want? I don't know. I serve Great One. I serve Great One. Great One will get you.
Ooh, great one. Who is this?
No, now we're getting on the right track, it sounds like.
Yeah, who is the Great One?
This one on the wall? The
That is Great One. He will take you.
Where is the Great One now?
He is coming for you.
Well, he better get here quick, or we're gonna make short work of you first. Where is the Great One?
He is, the Great
And
One
don't
is
say up my butt. I've had enough of this out of you.
on your face.
Somebody else take over. I've already got an apple explode in my face. Take a walk.
Where do the rest of where do you live?
I live in dorm. I am student.
Are there many other students?
Enough.
Where are the other students?
On break. I was in detention. I was a bad
Yeah, that
student.
checks out.
So they're not around?
They will be. Eventually.
Well, we'll definitely want to be out of your way before then. We wouldn't want to interrupt your education. Education is very important. You should listen to your teacher more. But for now,
Teacher is doo-doo head.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
It's true. I mean, but when he wakes up, you should really listen to him. Be nicer than we were.
So
we
how-
didn't exactly lead by example.
how can we tried.
We did
How can
try.
we how can we find this dorm? Is that where all the other kobolds are, or are they away from the school now?
They get treasure for Great One.
I see.
Treasure.
Treasure
all
for
hear
the
that?
Great One.
And where do they deliver this treasure?
To the Great One.
And where is that? Where's the Great One?
The Great One is in the place of greatness. It is grand.
Can you give us directions? Can you put it
If
into
you untie me,
Yeah, we're gonna have to
that
take this
doesn't-
one with us. This
that-
does not seem like
does not seem
seems
like a good idea.
ill-advised.
We
if you
can take the
untie me, I
blanket.
tell you what Great One is.
We could tie off the blanket. Yeah.
Well,
I
we can
guess
tie off the
could.
blanket and use it as like a little backpack, like we're carrying a little child.
That's what I'm thinking. Put it on the end of a stick.
Carry on like Baby Yoda.
A little combat baby Bjorn.
What about
All right, so-
other kobolds who aren't students besides the teacher? Are there any other teachers?
Maybe.
Can you tell us anything about these gears?
They are metal things. And parts of metal things. They are
Were they
scary.
used for the traps?
What?
Do you like grubs?
Candied grubs?
Maybe. How much do you like candied grubs?
A lot.
What if I
most
told
delicious.
you I have a whole jar of candied grubs? What would
Teacher
you say
would
to
not
that?
give us candied grubs. He says they make us hyper.
That's true, but guess what? I'm not the teacher, and I will give you the candied grubs, but you've got to just help us with a couple things. Does that sound okay to you?
Will you untie Klaxon?
All right.
What do you
I
think,
think we can
gang?
handle him.
All right.
Klaxon will behave for candied grubs.
Okay, but first things first, I need to get my hands on the grubs. So Cal would like to pick up the grubs and put them in his pack.
Okay.
And seal the pack and double tie it and then encase it in cement or something.
We could start
'Cause this
with
one's got the
one.
sticky
Start-
fingers.
could start with one though, right?
Okay,
Give him one to start.
you're right. You're right. We need an incentive. We need a little little something. So are we out of the bag yet? Here's one. But you got to make sure you're gonna take care of us, right?
Right. Okay.
All right, here you go.
Delicious. That's the best thing ever. Yes.
All right. Well,
It's good to see this side of you instead of the other mischievous side.
I mean,
Torn.
who says they are a side and not round? I'm not coin. I
And
am
we're back.
ball.
all right. Well, Torn, we'll go ahead and untie Klaxon.
Thank you. Oh, whoever did this, you made these too tight. I have imprints. These not fire.
Capital work. Capital work.
You'll be okay.
Good work.
It builds character.
Indeed.
All right.
Okay.
So, how about your teacher here? We can't just leave him tied up.
Yes, you can. It is okay. I say.
Well, do we
Some
have our
people will
lead?
be around eventually to untie him.
Do we need the teacher for anything? I feel like
No.
it would be
Be
a
bad.
waste.
Yeah, might be able to ask him about the books. He might know a little bit more. I have a bad feeling he's not going to be too cooperative, though.
I agree with you. But are we sure this one knows about the books?
Knows where the Great One is, which
Well,
I
that's
do know
seems
what
like
great one is.
where we need to go.
That's a
How
good
long-
point.
How long will it take us to get to the Great One?
I don't know. It is a bit of a trip. It takes some time. few hours, maybe? I don't know. We don't have sundown here. It is hard to tell time, okay?
Is
Also, a quick bit of meta. How many grubs do I have, Max?
Oh, it's like a mason jar, so you've probably got a good 30, 40 of them in there.
Okay, all right. I just need to know how carefully to ration these. Yes.
is there
Big jar
what's,
full of grubs. Okay.
are there any? Is it an easy trip, or are there any dangers along the way?
Danger. There is danger.
As expected.
I tell you what. For every time you manage to save us from a trap, I'll give you 1 grub. What do you think about that?
I think maybe this is acceptable.
Very
Okay.
good.
It can't be a trap you just set for us.
What?
It has to be one that was there
Excellent
already.
addendum. That is an excellent addendum. That is, yes. Although it would be
Or there
entrepreneurial,
will
which I
be-
respect.
Half an hour we'll be out of grubs.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So we need to figure out a direction to go, right?
Does anybody, before we go, anybody need, is everybody in good shape? I know that was,
I'm a little hurt.
Sorry.
Thankfully, I'm clean, but I'm feeling some pain. Cal is at 8 out of 15. So I wonder if it wouldn't be wise, or is it a thing we can do to take a short break? Would that be unwise? How are
seems
you
like
all feeling?
Eltorin's not so bad. We've got any healing spells we can throw around? Eltorin does not have those.
I do, but I only have 3. So if we could take a short rest, that would be a better use.
I guess
save
if we
those
took
for
a
the
short
actual
rest, it
battle.
would give us an opportunity to probably talk with the teacher a little bit.
That is true.
Ooh.
I will to cure this new spell I learned another day ago. Cure wounds for 2 grubs.
2 grubs.
2 grubs.
For 1 casting of Cure Wounds,
Seems like a pretty good deal.
that would be good. Is that enough that'll get us out of here? To say, okay, let's move on?
I mean, it could take care of me, maybe. Okay, let's go for it. All right.
Okay.
I want to keep the sugar going. I want you to remember that I've got the sweet stuff. So Cal would like to kind of carefully pluck 2 and kind of wring his hand off, get some of that tan grossness off.
I need.
All right, let's.
Yeah, it's the homemade candy too that like gets sticky in your hands.
Oh,
Yeah.
That is the best
tacky.
candy. Okay, I touch you. Weird creature.
All right, go ahead and roll that healing
And what
for
am I feeling?
for
Yeah,
your
am I
wounds.
feeling-
It's a 9?
Ooh.
All right, so you heal 9 hit points.
Wow. And that brings me to the max. Holy cow, that was good. Thank you. Miss Ray, did
Welcome.
you see that? That's almost as good as your stuff. I feel great. All right, I'm ready to go if you all are.
All right.
Okay.
All right, Klaxon, show us the way. Please
Okay,
take us
We
to...
go below.
We
we
go
go down.
below. All right, is there a door? We should. We'd like to follow. Let Klaxon lead. Klaxon or Klaxon?
So
Did
Klaxon,
we
I
ask
think.
your name. I don't think we did.
I said
was
my name
rude.
is Klaxon.
Yes, she said her name.
I beg your pardon. I simply forgot.
So they point, I think, to that picture
There.
The picture. I mean,
Of
is
the
that where we're
dragon.
Yes.
going, or something behind
Picture.
it?
Look, below is with picture.
So behind the picture.
That's
Yeah,
what I
move
said,
it.
with picture.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move the picture.
So as you slide that picture sort of off the hook that it's on, it was covering Shawshank Redemption style, a big hole in the wall that you can see sort of goes back for about 1.5 feet until there's a larger open space and a ladder that descends down into darkness.
I looked at that picture and I had no idea.
Yeah, in retrospect, it seems pretty obvious. Yeah. Okay.
All right,
Who's going in first?
Oh, Claxon's
I'll
got to
totally
find
go in.
the traps.
Any traps?
How far down is the first trap?
It can't be
It
right
is-
here, can it?
What?
Could
No.
be at the bottom of the stairs.
It is not on bottom of stairs. There are no. It goes down. I
Oh,
don't
it's a
know what
tunnel.
you're talking. It's. There are no. We will be fine going down.
Okay.
Ulfgar, is this you?
Yeah, I will jump into the hole head
It's
first.
another
Start going.
classic
All right.
Ulfgar move.
So Ulfgar, it is only about 1.5 feet before you get to this ladder, and
So
you
you
get
have
there
to
and
crawl through a mile of stuff to come out clean the other side?
Exactly. Maybe that's what Eltorin is seeing in his mind is that this 18 inches of dusty tunnel is like a mile-long sewer. But for Ulfgar, it's a simple matter of just sort of pulling forward and looking down, and that ladder goes down. What is the limit of your dark vision?
I believe it's 300 feet.
Oh, right, because
insane. Wow.
you're the crazy cleric.
Yeah.
So you have no problem spotting. This goes down about 50, 60 feet. So it's a long ladder that eventually it looks like it opens up into a larger space below that. But it goes to a dimly lit hallway. Well, I shouldn't say hallway. There's sort of like this circular opening that's clear that that's opened into a larger space that you'd sort of be dropping down through, like you're dropping through the ceiling of some other space.
Okay, so there will be. And how far is the? Does the ladder go all the way to the ground, or it's going to stop at the ceiling? We're going to have to drop.
The ladder does go all the way to the ground.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll just head on down.
Miss Greer will go
Ulfgar,
next.
does it look safe? Is it safe?
No, seems great.
All right. Cal follows along.
We'll get Klaxon to go next.
Okay, I go
Follow
next.
follow the grubs.
So it is a slow climb. Maybe once or twice Klaxon warns you, no, don't step on that particular rung. And you make it safely down. Coming down into a sort of a rubble-strewn, partially collapsed hallway. The ceilings are a little low for human standards, and the walls are a little wide. But Ulfgar, to you, it just feels right.
That's perfect.
It's the sort of architecture that just makes you feel at home as you're standing there, except for all of the humans and tieflings who feel it's a little cramped. There are some decorative carvings on the wall. At about 20 feet on ahead, you can see some blood stains on the ground.
Are those supposed to be there? Klaxon?
No. I said it was not safe. All the time.
What sort of dangers do you usually find in here?
The metal ones.
question.
They are the big danger.
Metal ones.
Yes, the metal ones. You were playing with pieces of them upstairs. I thought
The
you knew.
gears.
Ulfgar, have you ever seen anything like that before?
The metal things?
Have you ever seen some sort of metal monsters?
I don't think so.
Could you,
You can-
make heads or tails of those gears?
You can make a history check if you like, Ulfgar.
All right, let's try it.
Can Eltorin make one too?
Sure.
I feel like he's maybe researched stuff like this before, but no, probably not this one.
I got an 11.
Yeah. Yeah, and with Eltorin's 8, together you guys are clueless. Never heard of such a thing.
Researched many evil beasts and creatures, but nothing that would be mechanical like this.
Can
Maybe it's just a normal trap.
normal.
We should move quietly from here on
And
out then,
carefully.
until we know what we're going up against.
Can we see this blood stains? Is there any indication of something being dragged or pulled, or just blood? No other remains or signs of a struggle?
Make a survival check, please.
Well, if I have
That's
to.
an excellent question.
2.
Boy. Boy.
Yeah, no, it's ick, gross. It's just
Ugh.
blood. Ugh, don't get any on you.
Just avoid that. Yes.
So-
What's your feet? Just if you step around here and here, we can avoid it entirely. Just no, not over. No. Okay, fine. Just walk.
As a
through it.
detective, can I use investigation to see how dry it is, or?
Absolutely. And you know what? Given your background as City Watch, this is probably not the first time you've checked out bloodstains on the floor. So go ahead and roll with advantage.
Oh, with advantage. Love to hear that. And that is a total of 15.
Okay. So this is fresh. It hasn't had time to coagulate or dry in any way. This spill probably happened within the last hour. There's also there is something a little odd about the blood. There's some sort of greenish liquid that isn't mixing with it. Almost as if it's sort of an oil and water situation where the two things just aren't mixable. Which either means something really strange was in the creature that bled, or that there were two things that bled here, and their blood does not mix.
Does this match the color of the oil that was upstairs or up in the classroom?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so it looks like we have something, perhaps a mechanical beast that is terrorizing this basement.
Wow, you can tell all that from the blood?
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
If it is what I perceive is correct, I have a wild imagination based on what I've seen. That is what it appears it could be.
And given, I'll say given Eltorin's desire to start killing things, Eltorin, you begin to hear some shouts and the ringing of steel from further down the hallway. Klaxon, I will tell you, that is coming from the direction of what you think of as the dorm.
Okay.
Do you hear that?
What is that?
It sounds like there is battle. Whatever this is seems to be attacking from that direction. Do you know what's down there, Klaxon?
Yes, that is dorm. That is where I live.
The other students might be there.
Yes, maybe.
Well, we should go then.
We should go. Lead the way.
You guys are right.
I'm gonna start heading down the hallway.
Me too.
Let's go.
All right, and Klaxon is able to guide you. There's a couple turns you have to take past some doors, avoiding a few collapsed sections. But after about 2-3 minutes of hurried running through this sort of labyrinthine tunnel, the hallway opens up into a large. it's gigantic, but it's also clearly an antechamber of some kind. It probably goes off about 30 feet in each direction, but it's curved a little, and you're coming in at the long end of the curve. So the feeling of this architecture is sort of pulling you in and forward. The roof above you even slopes down. So above you, it's about 30 feet until after the perhaps 40 feet of room in front of you, it's no more than about 8 feet before it gets to the doors. Then in that curved hall wall in front of you, there are 3 sets of double doors, one directly in front of you, one off about 20 feet to the left, one off about 20 feet to the right. The 2 double doors on the left and right have been barricaded. They've been nailed shut with cross beams across them. That's the space you're in. But probably the things that immediately catches your eye are these metallic orbs, perhaps about 2 feet in diameter, small-sized things, but with a lot of 3, 4, 5 sometimes legs coming down, sort of limbs. Some of these limbs pointed, some of them with little grabbers, and there's a big cluster of these things. There are, in fact, I think there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these things gathered in front of the main double doors. And off to the sides, to the left and to the right, there are 3 more, 2 on your left, 1 on your right. But those robots have little spinning saw blades that they're using to try to get through the barricaded doors. The metallic creatures in front of you, 4 of them, have jutting spears that are stabbing forward at 4 brave kobolds who are trying to block that door with their bodies and with shields and with battered swords, and they are screaming in rage and pain and anger as they battle these robots. And I would like everyone, please, to roll initiative.
Okay. Calden has rolled a 13.
Platson has
Eltorin
rolled a 17.
Nice.
Miss Grill has also rolled a 13.
Klaxon, I see you in the initiative with a 2.
Oh.
But if you rolled a 17, I think I can change it.
Nah, it's cool. You can change it to a 2.
No, I'm happy to
think
have you have a
maybe I've rolled
17.
weird.
I know, I totally buy how, given the situation you're in, you might be acting fast.
Yeah.
All right.
makes
However,
sense.
Eltorin, you have won the initiative with your 21, so you can act first.
All right. So how far away are these ones that are in front of us?
They're about 25 feet in front of you.
25 feet. And there's, you said, how many are in the group directly in front of us? Or 8?
Directly in front of you, there's a cluster of 8. 4 of them have spears and seem to be in direct confrontation with those kobolds. The other 4 just sort of have little grabby little hand claws that are sort of twitching and eager to get in there, but they aren't in the front line combat against those kobolds.
And then on the far either end of the hallway, there's groups of how many that are
a little.
trying to get...
On your left, there's 2, and on your right, there's 1, and those are the ones with the circular saws.
The saws.
All right.
Wondering, do we have time to form a... I guess we don't. There's no time to talk about...
No time
any
to
sort
talk.
of- It's happening.
Yeah,
We
it's
gotta
happening.
go.
All right. Well,
And I will say, as you guys enter, the robots with the saws and with the little grabby hands are rotating around, and each one of them has one singular eye is probably the best thing to call it. It's a little circular spot right dead center with a little glowing aperture in the middle that when it sees you just seems to open and close until it's fixed on you. So they're definitely aware you're there.
Gonna go ahead and Eltorin will reach his hand up, stay where he is, and close his fist towards one of the other ones, and the air will cool around it, and he will try to get it with frostbite so it will need to make a Constitution saving throw.
Great. Are you going for one of the hand claws, one of the spears, or one of the circular saws?
See, one from the group that's right in front of us, so one of the spears.
One of the spears. Alrighty. Where did they go? Here they are. One of the spears. All right. Constitution saving throw, you say?
Yes.
That is a 5.
Okay. Then it will take all of 2 damage.
Okay.
But
It's a start.
it's a start, but it will have disadvantage on its next weapon attack.
Nice. Okay. Any movement or bonus action you want to do?
No, gonna hang here for the moment, having little frost crickles across it as the air sort of chills and some of the moisture condenses on it as it just gums up its gears a little bit, and Eltorn will hang where he is.
All right. Well, those it is now the turn of the spear robots, and they are maintaining their attack on the kobolds in front of them. I was going to say that on this turn they kill one of those kobolds, but I'll say since you have slowed one down, that one of those spear robots just forward hits the shield of one of the kobolds, pins them against the side, and the one you've frozen would have been able to on that pinned kobold make a killing hit, but because its spear is just slowly moving through that ice crust you've put around it, the kobold is able to twist and turn and get out of the way and survive that round.
Wow.
Nice.
So that is their turn. Now one of the grabby robots has seen you and starts to come scuttling forward. And Eltorin, I think they're going to focus on you since you did a thing.
All right.
It starts scuttling towards you and reaches out with its hand to grab. Your spell focus is a crystal that you hold in your hand, right?
Sure.
It reaches forward and is trying to grab that crystal with its pincing claw. I would like you, please, to make either an athletics or acrobatics check to contest its sleight of hand and grabbing it away from you.
All right. I get a 20.
Oh, that absolutely
Wow.
beats its 6. So it reaches to try to do it. Unfortunately, it can also do this as a bonus action. So it's going to try one more time. One more contest, please.
Nat 20. It's a 24.
And it got a 16. So at first you zoop it away, but you realize you're heading right towards that second claw that's coming up to grab it. But you are able to yoink it out of the way so that the two grabby claws run into each other for a little bit and tangle up. And then it wastes the rest of its turn getting its hands untangled.
Can I slip it away with the one and then push the other one aside with the hand and a little bit of shock to sort of like a little bit with the
just to shine it on a little bit. Yeah, just a little extra insult. Absolutely. All right, and that brings us now to Klaxon's turn.
Okay. Klaxon is going to use Wild Shape and turn into the starry form for Archer.
So what does that look like as you transform?
It looks really cool. So they're going to do a little spinny spin, and when they come around, they still look like Klaxon, but they have a constellation on them. That if you know constellations, it's an archer's constellation, and they have a little bit of a luminescence around them, and they just kind of do a little shimmy and say, "I'm starry now, bitches."
Was that did you transform in a spin like Linda Carter Wonder Woman? Is that the...
I was thinking more those anime characters that do
A
that
magical
that
girl?
spin
Oh,
thing and
yeah.
they turn into this special girl thing.
like
Yeah.
That
Wicked.
exactly.
Absolutely. There's a generational difference for you, by the way.
Yeah, it sure is.
Was that Linda Carter? Okay.
No, that was Sailor Moon.
Sailor Moon.
Yes, like Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
then
I'm going to make a little note not to be so old. Okay.
they'll pull out their archer bow and arrow and use it to shoot. I don't know what's closest to it to me.
The closest thing is that robot that just tried to grab the spell focus away from Eltorin.
Okay, we'll go for that one.
All right. Go ahead and make your
And-
attack roll.
I am making it. Let me see.
It's showing up twice for some reason. I'm going to take the first number. I'm going to take the 13.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I'm not sure
Yeah.
why my rolls are coming up twice for
Well,
us.
hey, we've got advantage
Twice
and
as nice.
disadvantage automatically baked in if we need it. Unfortunately, a 13 does not hit its armor class. You contact the sphere, but the arrow just skips off the metallic body.
Darn.
Ooh. That was a good shot, too. Cal says, wow, you never failed to impress.
Thank you.
Okay, who's
The,
next?
the chat, by the way, is plotting to somehow force me to watch Sailor Moon, which I think is fair. I think is totally fair.
Totally fair.
All right. Anything else you want to do, Klaxon? You had to use your bonus action for your wild shape in your action, but you can move if you want to.
How far are they away from me?
That one is pretty close to you. The main cluster is about 20 feet away.
I want to move so that the main cluster is within about 10 feet of me.
Okay, sure. So you
Can I
sort
do
of,
that?
yeah, you sort of slip into the room and to the side. So you're sort of off about halfway distance between where everybody else is and the main cluster of these metal beasts.
Okay. And maybe get a little, because I want things to be within about 10 feet of me. So
Sure.
maybe a little bit closer than 10 feet. But
Sure,
yeah.
that way you'd get more of them close together.
Yes.
Sounds good.
Strategy.
It is now the guarding kobold's turn, and they turn their attention on the one that was previously wounded and sort of concentrate fire. And in a blitz of swords and yells and stabs, manage to bring that one down. So one of the spear robots is destroyed by the kobolds at the door. But that brings us now to the first cutting robot off to the right, which, as you are, Klaxon, as you're moving into the room, it turns around and starts coming up to you. It is not attacking you. As it's coming towards you, you see that monocular eye focus on you, and this little beam of concentrated light sort of comes out and sort of scans over their body as this cutting robot uses its measure twice, cut once feature to understand your dimensions and weaknesses, which may give it some advantages if it were to attack you on its next turn. But that is what it can do on this turn, which brings us round to Calden.
Okay. Cal will step forward, pull the bow, and say, get the spears! And take a crack at one of the closest spear-wielding robot.
All right, go ahead and make that attack
That'll
roll.
let's see here. That's going to be unfortunately, it's going to be a 12.
Yeah, 12 does not hit. As again, it does contact, but its hardened metallic body, that arrow just splinters as it hits.
Yikes.
And I can, this might be a good time to flex my new muscle, although I'm not totally sure yet what hiding does. It seems like it would probably be a good idea for future attacks, right?
Make a stealth check.
Okay, and that will be, the stealth check is a 10.
10. So you take a few steps running out into the room looking for something to hide behind and become very disappointed because all the obvious things to hide behind, the clusters of rubble and so forth, are down at the far ends of the room and you can't quite get there.
Okay, and I think with that, I am finished. Cal is finished.
All right, brings us to Miscria.
All right. And how far is Miskria from the closest robot?
Maybe 10 feet from the
Okay.
one that tried to grab the spell focus away, and that puts you about 30 feet from the rest of them.
All right. So
What
I
about
will.
Mr. Buzzsaw?
Oh, Mr. Buzzsaw would be about half of that, so about 15 feet away.
All right.
That one's
So
closing in.
I'll go up to the one closest and use my scimitar, a little hand to hand with a robot.
All right.
Sounds like a bad idea, but I gotta do it. That's a 17.
Nice.
That hits. Roll your damage.
All right, rolling
At
damage.
last.
That's a 7.
So you swing out with that scimitar, and it catches a little seam. There's a tiny little seam that runs around the middle of this thing, and you feel that scimitar dig in and burst through whatever weld was holding this together, and the thing just bursts apart like a party favor. Just and the top falls off, and
Great news.
gears fly everywhere. There's a splatter of green fluid, and it just collapses to the ground in a pile of gears and tubing and metal, and that is
And green
one
ooze.
and green ooze, and that is one knocked down.
Well done.
They aren't invincible.
That's a good. Well struck.
Anything else?
I believe that is all for this turn.
All right. Now there are the other 3 of these grabbing robots. Having brought one of their kin down, they focus in on you and come scuttling forward. And each of them, their hands are narrowing, so those pincers now become stabbing implements. And the first one tries to stab at you, and that is a 19 to hit.
Oh, it hits.
All right, and
Okay.
it does-
Eltorn or what? Eltorn would like to react.
Yeah.
Use a reaction. As he sees the robot coming in and stabbing at Miskria, he quickly waves that spell focus over, and a shower of like little silvery like barbs fly towards the robot, and getting in its way and infecting it. And so I'm going to cast silvery barbs, which will force it to roll again and use the lower roll.
Nice.
Wow, that is a nice trick.
Oh, unfortunately, this roll was a 22.
Oh,
Okay, well, so still going to take
Yeah.
it.
good
But
try. Good
good.
try.
Yeah, but it's a sparkly spangly 22.
Yeah, but in addition, though, that's not the end of the spell. That the barbs will bounce off of the thing, obviously not doing enough to distract it, but they will settle around Miskria, and they will actually act as a focus for her, so she will get advantage on her next roll or ability check, next D20 roll.
Nice.
So remember that.
Well, so you take 3 points of damage from the fundamentally dagger stab, but you now have a little magical sparkle on your side. For its bonus action, that robot is actually going to reach out and try to grab that scimitar away from you.
Oh,
So
shoot.
a either athletics or acrobatics check contesting its sleight of hand, please.
And you'll have advantage on this.
Advantage. Okay. Good to know. Athletics. Here I go. And that
By the
is
way,
a
Luke-
15.
Which is better than the 6 that it got. So it grabs onto the scimitar and you just yank it straight away. And that is its turn. Unfortunately, there's 2 more that are trying to do the same thing.
I do have a question. How much damage
Yeah.
did I get from that one?
3.
3. Okay.
The next one's dagger strike is a 15 to hit.
It does not hit.
Okay, clanging off your shield. And it's actually going to try to wrench your shield away from you. So same thing, acrobatics or athletics to contest that.
All right. Am I still with advantage, or was that just a
it was
one-time
only
thing?
for your next roll. So
All right,
no
just
more.
making sure. And that's an 11.
It got a 10, though. So
Oh, okay.
the bulky nature of the shield, you're able to sort of hold on to it as it yanks and tugs. Meanwhile, the third one comes in for its dagger stab, but that's only an 8 against your armor class.
Does not hit.
No, but it will join in on the struggle for your shield. So one more time on that one, please.
All right. I am fighting for it, and that is a 15.
This one got a 19, though.
Oh, shoot.
So there's this wrench as its second grabber hand got a good hold on that shield and just had the perfect angle to just yank it right off your arm. And it
Ouch.
turns and starts scuttling for a little hole in the wall on the side where there are two of the saw robots. As it runs away from you, you can get an attack of opportunity with your scimitar if you want.
Yes, attack away.
All right.
And that is a 16.
That hits.
All right. And that is a
Let's get some
10.
damage.
10 damage. The anger of having your shield taken away, taken out on this robot, he just destroy. I just like coming up in the air, Superman punching down with the scimitar. Not even on the well that you know is the weak point, just right down on the head with the sheer force of your anger. And this thing busts apart and is now a pile of gears as well. Your shield now lying, though, unequipped down on the floor by your feet. And that brings us to Ulfgar.
All right.
Okay.
How many bad guys do we still have around?
There are currently quite a number. There are 3 of the stabbing robots. There are 2 of the grabbing robots by Miscria. There is 1 saw robot in front of Klaxon, and off on the left-hand side, about 20 feet away, there are 2 more saw robots.
All right, I'm gonna look at the group of 3, and I'll just say, you cannot hide from me, and I'll give me a dex save for them.
Okay, those are the spear ones?
Yeah, that's the 3 of them.
Yeah.
3 together.
Okay.
Okay.
3 separate deck saves, 20 and
That one
18
can. Maybe that one.
and 7.
Okay, I cast Fairy Fire, so the 7 is outlined in a purple light, and
Nice.
much easier to see, so everyone gets advantage on that one.
All right.
And then I want to
Good
maneuver
choice.
myself to try and shield Kaladin and Eltorin as much as possible, kind of be between them and the things that are coming.
All right, sounds good. As the things that are coming are the 2 saw robots off on the left. So they turn and start moving up towards you. But they do as they did last time. They're not attacking you with those whirring saws, but they are using that eye scanner to take a measure of you, each one using that measure twice, cut once ability, so that they understand your dimensions, so that their next attack when it comes will be much more effective. And that brings us back round to the top of the order. Eltorin, you're up.
All right. So, let's see. Did you get closer to not? All right. So Eltorin, let's see, is a little bit of distance between him and the ones that are on Miscria, right?
Yeah, maybe about 5-7 feet of distance, but enough to count as ranged. Sure.
All right. But actually, he'll feels confident that Miscria's got things under control, as it would, seeing how she dispatched 2 of them like slash just a second ago, and is a little more worried about Klaxon up there. So he's going to actually run up, and his hand will spark as lightning arcs between his fingers, and he will try to grab the saw one that was scanning Klaxon with shocking grasp.
Nice. Is that an attack roll or a saving
That
throw
is
on their part?
an attack roll.
Go for it.
20 to hit.
That's a hit.
All right. It will be 5 damage.
Okay, not enough
5
to bring this one down.
Lightning damage, if that matters. D8 lightning damage and can't take reactions until the start of its next turn.
Nice.
So, considering what Eltorn moved about 15 feet there-ish,
But thereabouts, sure.
Eltorn will move 15 feet back and pull back to the main group.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, and would have turned that spinning blade on you, but temporarily fritzing from that electricity cannot do it.
Oh, actually, I should have had advantage on that because assuming that this thing has metal armor. But
Oh,
didn't need
indeed.
it.
Well, roll again. Maybe you'll get a crit.
Oh, all right.
Always take advantage of advantage.
Nope, not this
Indeed.
time.
No crit. Okay. So anything else, or is that it?
No, that'll be it.
Okay, which next brings us to the block of the spear robots, which in their turn are able to bring one of those guard kobolds down. So one of those kobolds goes down as a couple of spears get past its shield and drop him to the floor. So they have brought one of those. So now only 3 kobolds guard that open double door. And it is now Klaxon, your turn.
Okay. So I'm going to use Draconic Cry, which basically anything that's within all enemies within 10 feet who hear me screaming, and I'll scream like, "For the Great One!" They hear me, and we get advantage against on all attack rolls until my next turn.
On any of the robots that are within 10 feet of you.
Yes, on any of the robots that are within 10 feet of me.
So given where you placed yourself, that is the saw one in front of you, that are the grabby ones near Miscria, and that is also the spear ones. Yeah, so
cool.
they all sort of hear you, and every single one of those robot eyes rotates around to stare at this bold, glittering kobold, meaning they're distracted from everybody else. Which brings us around now to the kobold's turn. And I was going to say on their turn, they were going to bring one of these protector robots down. But I'm going to say, since you have given advantage against them, that because of that, they're able to bring 2 of those spear robots down. So only one of those spear robots remain as those 3 kobolds just, "Rah, yes, the Great One, rah!" And they jump forward, stab, 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 stab. And 2 of those spear robots fall, inspired by your draconic cry. And that next brings us to, the cutting robot in front of you.
I thought I had time.
Nope.
Nope.
Which will now attack you with advantage on that spinning saw blade. So that is, almost a crit. That's a 19 on the die, a 21 to hit.
Okay, well,
So-
that hits.
So if I were to use silvery barbs on this, I guess it would just re-roll the advantage.
Yes.
Because it says uncertainty creature must re-roll the d20 and use the lower roll.
Reroll the d20.
So I guess you just roll with advantage, right?
You know what I'm going to say? Yeah, it's another advantage roll, and it has to take the lower of the 2.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's worth trying to stop this one, considering it has advantage. It's probably going to hit you anyway.
I see you letting it go?
Yeah, I think I'm just going to let it go.
All right, so that saw blade hits for, only 1 point of slashing damage.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You're like, no! Oh, that wasn't so bad. And Calden, it's your turn.
Okay, so far the other 2 saw robots have yet to engage.
They
us.
are engaged with Ulfgar. They've moved forward and scanned him, but they have not
scanned
attacked him yet. Yes.
Okay, in that case, it looks like we've got this other saw robot done and dusted. So I'd like to engage whichever. Oh, but he did move in front of me for a reason. But I can move and withdraw. Is that right?
You certainly can with your
I think
new
I can
disengage
with my
bonus
new
action.
power.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I'd like to do. I'd like to attack the closest one, and then
The
disengage.
closest of the saw robots in
Two-
front of Ulfgar.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. Go
So I
ahead.
need to roll.
Straight
let's
attack
see.
roll, but you will get your sneak attack if you hit.
Okay, and that just means a single dagger, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's a 9.
Yeah. Now it's up
was
to
a
you.
1.
You can use your bonus action to make that offhand attack, but then you don't get to disengage. So it's up to you.
They have not moved yet, have they?
Nope.
No. I'm just going to disengage and back off.
All right. So you sneak up there, cling off the metal, but then scurry back, not taking that second swing. All right. Brings us to Miscria.
All right. Am I able to pick up my shield and attack?
You can pick it up. However, it does take a whole action to get a shield back on. So you can pick it up and have it in your hand, but it won't be providing you an armor class bonus.
Okay. So I pick it up, but I can still attack?
Yes. So you've got basically you're holding the shield in one hand, but you haven't to sort of slip the shield around your arm and make sure it's secure. That's a whole action. You're holding
Okay.
it in your hand, which at least means those little robots can't grab it and run off with it so easily.
That is true.
And with the scimitar in your other hand, you can make an attack.
All right. All right, I'm going to make an attack on the thing in front of me.
All right, one of the two grabby robots in front of you. Go for it.
Although, okay, no, I'm going to just do it. That is an 11.
An 11 does not hit.
Okay.
Yeah, perhaps off balance with the weight of the weirdly
Oh, wait,
held shield.
Which
pulls you
ones?
aside.
Which ones should we have advantage on?
Not that one. Not that one.
Not that
It-
one.
it
What
is-
about-
it is the one remaining spear robot that is.
And
What
I
about
did
the
forget-
one?
Oh
I forgot to
no!
roll it. I sure did. That's on
No,
me.
you didn't have advantage on that saw robot,
didn't.
but you
Okay.
no. But yes, you're 100% correct. Miscria should have advantage on this attack roll. So go ahead and make a second roll, Miscria, and we'll count the high. If it hits, it hits. Thank you for the catch on that.
That is a 24.
Oh,
That
that
24 hits.
Nat
There we
20.
go.
Brilliant.
Oh, critical! All right, so double the dice on that critical roll.
Double the dice.
I'll bet if you right-click on the damage roll, it'll give you a critical option.
Hold on.
I think
Okay.
it will.
Yeah. Crit damage.
Yeah,
roll. Yeah, that's a 9.
that is 9. Yeah, you blast that thing apart.
Slink.
Nice.
All right.
Okay. So any movement that you want to make?
There's still one right in front of me, so
There
no.
is. All right. And it is the turn of that one in front of you. So it will
Okay.
try to stab you with the dagger. Remember, you don't have the advantage of that shield in your armor
Yep.
class now, and it's a 17 to hit.
It hit me.
All right.
All
Well, El Torin will once again wave his hand over, little silvery, little barbs like shower down around the thing, trying to distract it. So it'll have to roll again.
All right. That is a 6 on the roll again.
Does not hit.
that silvery
But
barb
clutch.
explosion right in its little eye viewport and just skitters around and its attack goes wide.
All right. This time the little silver barbs bounce off of there and settle around Calden. So Calden will have an advantage on his next D20 roll.
Right on. The robot, its attack wasted, is going to try to grab that scimitar away, though. That is a scary, scary scimitar. So athletics or acrobatics to keep that scimitar in your hand. I got to tell you, you got to beat a 19.
Athletics.
It's pretty good with the grab on this one.
16.
16, no! So it reaches out and gets that scimitar away from you, and then with its movement starts scuttling away. You can unarmed strike as an opportunity attack.
I shall unarmed strike away.
All right.
I'm imagining a shield.
Oh yeah, shield bash.
Strike
You can
thing.
shield bash as an unarmed
do
strike.
a little
Absolutely.
Shield bash.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm trying to figure out what I need to roll for. Oh yeah, okay, I see. A 9.
Yeah, 9 doesn't hit. So
Okay.
the shield skips off and it scuttles away. It's got a movement of 30 feet, so it is able to get to
Wow.
that open hole in the floor, carrying away her scimitar, but isn't able to slip down the hole on this turn.
Oh, I'm
Ulfgar,
mad.
this brings us to you.
I'm gonna go all in on one of the guys that's next to me.
Okay.
Can I get advantage on them because they're within 10 feet of Klaxon? Is that right?
Yes.
All right.
No, I'm sorry. No, these ones were not within 10 feet of Klaxon.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna smash him with a hammer then.
All right.
13.
13 does not hit. That metal armor is tough.
Well, that's all I got.
Okay. That brings us to their turn. After having scanned you with their measure twice, cut once ability, they are now making these saw blade attacks with advantage. So the first one rolls not a crit, but close. It's a dirty 20.
That hits.
So you take 3 points of slashing damage.
All right.
The other one gets very bad rolls, total of 7.
That does not hit.
So yeah, you are able to block away the second one after that first one cuts a little deep. And that brings us back to the top of the order for round number 3. El Torin, you are up. There's one of those spear robots left. All 3 cutting robots still stand, and one of those grabby robots about to make its escape with Miscrea's scimitar.
Yeah. Would I be able to reach that one?
From where you are, it would take your entire speed to get to it, but I'll say yes.
Okay. I guess in an effort to try to save the scimitar, I'll
It's like
run
the worst.
over.
Need that.
Yeah, it's the worst late night TV commercial with the sad music going and the...
Yeah, run over. He'll run over after it. Once again, hand sparking again, and just land his hand on top of it, and trying to shock it. And
All
I'm
right.
gonna take this roll with advantage because I assume that it has metal armor.
Yes, it does. The whole thing is metal.
Oh, good thing. There we go. 22 to hit.
That hits.
All right. Oh, no
Fingers
luck.
crossed.
One damage, and it cannot take reactions.
Okay. Needless to say, 1 point does not bring it down. You got a bonus action, or is that it?
How about I'll go ahead and use a bonus action to spend a couple sorcery points to regain a spell slot,
Yeah, you've been burning through this, thanks.
and that'll be it.
All right. There is one spear robot left, which on its turn stabs one of the kobolds guarding. So that kobold goes down. There are now 2 kobolds left to guard the door. And that brings us to Klaxon.
Okay. Is the one who tried to, off me still alive?
Yes.
Okay. I am going to use my archer thing against it.
Okay. If you're making a ranged attack with something against something within 5 feet of you, it will be at disadvantage.
Maybe I want that.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Although you were fast on the die roll, I really appreciated that.
I was. Thank you. Thank you. We're not doing that die roll, but it was nice. Okay. Let's see. Is ice knife ranged or?
Yes,
You know
it
what?
is.
I have a scimitar. I'm gonna use a scimitar.
All right.
Let's do it. Oop, wrong button. Roll.
10 does not hit.
This is not fair.
No.
I'm not happy.
The kobolds now are next. There's there's 2 brave little kobolds left, but they are facing an undamaged robot, glittering with fairy fire, which is enough of an advantage for them to bring that one down. So those spear robots are down now, but now we come to that cutting robot in front of you, which has measured you twice, so it does get to attack you with advantage. That is... against Klaxon is a 17 to hit.
That hits.
So you take, again, only 1 point of damage. I think this one has a very dull saw. It's just against your skin, and you're like, ow, ow, stop, ow. Calden, that brings us to you.
All right. Cal's noticed the one that's skittering away with the sword, so he's his first obligation is to his teammates, so he's going to take a crack at that one with the short bow.
Sure. I'm sorry. Which one is this now?
The one that's skittering away with the scimitar.
Remember,
Yes.
you get this roll with advantage because of the
Thank you.
silvery
You did.
barbs focusing. Mm-hmm. So roll
So
again.
I rolled once, which was a 14,
Yeah.
and the other one is a 17.
I'll tell you, the 14 would not have hit, but the 17 does.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's
And I'm
I
adjacent
like to
to
whisper
it.
thank you.
Yeah.
Eltorn is adjacent to it.
You get your sneak attack as well.
With the bow?
Yes.
Or could I? Oh, wow. Okay, great. Okay, so the first damage is a 1, unfortunately.
I think
And the second one-
if you do a right click on the right, sorry, so it's not a critical hit. Total of 4 points of damage. That's the bad
Total of
news.
4.
The good news is it had 4 hit points left, so you are able to sort of you hit that mechanical eye and pierce through into its inner workings, and there's a shower of sparks, and the thing falls apart, and the scimitar clatters, spinning on the lip of that hole like a golf ball that doesn't want to go in.
Taunting me.
And that brings us to your turn, Miscria.
Oh, wait,
All
wait,
right.
whoa.
Oh,
There's
I'm
still
sorry,
30
Calden. It
I
does
haven't
not. You have
moved
movement
yet.
and a bonus action. What am I talking
I
about?
have-
Cutting
so-
a
and as matter
rogue
of
off.
fact-
You've got like 17 more things to do.
I do. Yeah, I've got a little Rolodex to keep track of all this stuff. So, correct me if I'm wrong. I think I can cover that distance from where I'm standing, and
Yes,
I
you can.
wonder, with my bonus action, if I can't throw that sword to Miscria.
You know
In a
what?
Sort of diving, whoosh, sort of
By
thing.
the rules, no, but that's so cool. I'm going to let it go.
Very
Yeah. No. I'll tell you.
And
I'll
then
tell
the
you. I'll tell you.
diving-
I'll tell you what. We'll do it this way. Make an acrobatics check to see if you can do the thing like a baseball player, because it's at the end of your movement, right? So it's like a baseball player who has
Yes.
to like lunge for a hard hit grounder. Can you get your body up to make that throw well or not? That's what we'll go
Survey
for.
says it's a 14.
14 is enough. So it's not you're not making like the Sports Center top 10 or anything, but you're able to slide in and grab it and chuck it right before your body crashes into the wall. Now, Miscria, you have a spinning scimitar headed your way.
Yeah.
I'd like you to make a dexterity saving throw to see how effectively you catch this.
Dexterity saving throw. That is a nat 20, which makes it a 21.
So what is the coolest possible way for you to catch this spinning scimitar?
I jump up in the air and I do a little tumble, keeping this away from my body because I know it can impale myself doing a tumble. But then I pop back up and I dress it up in the air.
Nice. All right. And everybody's just watching like, wow. Let's see.
Very
How many
impressed.
are there any scavenger robots left alive? No. Okay, Ulfgar. That brings us to you.
All right, so I still got the 2 in front of me.
You do.
Let's try to hit him again. That's gonna be a 5. He was
Five
so
does
close to an
yeah,
18.
Does not work. Just ting, ting, ting away on these metal bodies, but getting nowhere. That brings us to their turn. And they do, unless, I'm sorry, here I go cutting people off. You have a movement or bonus action you want to do?
Nope, I'm just
All right.
bracing.
So
Cal's feeling
again,
guilty for
attacking
leaving
with
Ulf.
advantage. First one gets a 14 against your armor class.
Nope.
Next one is a 15 against your armor class.
Nope.
All right, pair of misses as you knock those spinning saw blades away.
right.
Back to Eltorin. There currently remains standing Eltorin only the 3 cutting robots. 1 standing off against Klaxon and 2 against Ulfgar.
All right. Well, the shocking grasp seems to be a pretty effective way to handle these guys. So Eltorn will say, "Nice throw," and then rush back over to one of the ones next to Ulfgar and and
Right on.
try to grab the thing and shock it. 11.
11 does not hit.
So it gets a little saw between it and just can't quite get the grasp around the saw. Curses.
All right. That brings us to Klaxon.
Okay. I am going to do a cantrip Thorn Whip and do it against the one that's been trying to hurt me badly.
All right.
I'm feeling it hurting me badly, but still hurting me. So
Go
I'm
for
going to
it.
do that.
There we go.
Yeah. 19
Does
hits.
Yay! Finally. I'm pressing it. Oh no.
What was it? How much damage?
If I rolled it, I think I pressed it twice. Let
Oh,
me see.
well, the
Three times.
first number I saw come through is a 2, so that's the one I'm going to take.
I'll take that.
So 2 points of damage does not bring this thing down.
Nope.
Anything else? You're going to stay where you are.
I am gonna stay where I am.
All right.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the remaining 2 kobolds guarding the door. They see you bravely standing off against this thing. They heard your inspiring cry, and they're like, Klaxon, receive you! And they come running forward, and with their turn, they can bring that robot down. So that one is destroyed, leaving only the 2 in front of Ulfgar for Calden's turn.
Okay, I don't think I can. Maybe I can make the distance for these.
You absolutely can. From you, they're
think
maybe
it's-
15 feet away.
Okay, and I wonder. I'm assuming. Well, let's try to go for. I wonder if I can hide first. Does that give me an advantage? I'm not super good at roguing
It
yet.
would the challenge here is that
How do you make that make sense?
like
He's next to
a
this
good
hole.
dice roll doesn't remove object permanence. Right. So there really isn't a way for you to hide and then have them be surprised about where
Here.
you are. Yeah. Now, if you were in a situation, just for future combats, if there's in a situation where you could hide and then move someplace while hidden and then pop up from that other location, I
for
totally
surprise.
would give you the advantage for surprise. But in this particular battlefield, you don't have that in front of you.
I'm not roguery enough yet for this type of maneuver. So let's just have me dash over. Cal's going to dash over.
Okay.
And he's going to take a crack at the. Well, they have the same. Neither one is damaged yet, are they?
No, they're not.
Whichever one happens to be closest.
Sure, and since they're both
with
engaged with Ulfar and you can come up from the back, I'll say that you can flank it and get advantage on your attack roll.
That was what I was trying to do with the hiding. So let's. Okay. So let's roll with advantage. And that's going to be an 18.
That hits.
Okay.
So get your
And
sneak
I've
attack
got
in there.
The sneak attack. So we've got a 3.
Okay.
And I should be rolling. Okay. Sorry for the metagaming. Should I be rolling 3 hits or just 2? Oh,
You
it
would
doesn't
do
matter
one
because
click of your
that's a
sneak attack damage.
One click of the sneak and 1 dagger or both daggers?
Just one dagger.
Okay. Well, it should be sufficient because it was a total of 9.
For these, that is not enough to bring it down. It's pretty badly hurt. You got that dagger in there and you twisted, and a burst of that green lubricant came around your hand, but it's still tottering up on its legs and still alive. But you can, with your bonus attack with your other dagger.
That's what I would love to do. And do I
Yeah.
need to re-roll for this?
You need another attack roll, yeah.
Okay.
You can still
But not
have
another-
advantage from the flanking. Not the damage,
does that-
just the attack roll.
Oh, an attack roll. I beg
Yeah,
pardon.
it doesn't
Well, maybe-
automatically hit.
Well, let's
What-
pretend that one didn't happen. With advantage, it will be just a 13.
13 does not hit, I'm afraid. Maybe
Okay.
your feet are slipping on this pool of lubricant. But that did
Gross.
take
Electronic
your bonus
mucus.
action, so you can't disengage now. You
Right.
have to stand there.
I'm in it.
Yes, you are. Anything else? You can move if you want, although they would get an opportunity attack.
No, I'll stay where I am.
All right, brings us to Miscria, newly re-scimitarred.
Yeah.
Re-scimitarred. There we go.
And I'm
Rearmed.
assuming my shield is now active or is now equipped.
Nope, you need to take an action to equip it.
Oh, okay, so I can equip it now.
Sure. That is your action. You don't get to then attack.
Okay.
But you can take a moment to get that shield on.
All right, I'm taking a moment to get my shield on and hold on one moment. Da, ba, ba. I guess that's me.
Alrighty.
Or how far
brings-
away am I from the action?
I'm going to say about 15 feet.
Okay, I'll stay.
And that brings us to Ulfgar.
I'm gonna try to hit it again.
All right, the
Come
one that's
on.
been damaged.
Yeah, nope, that was a 5.
Well, you're flanking too.
Okay. Come on, something. Okay, that's a 19.
There you go.
This we can work with.
Finally make some things happen. And that's 9 damage.
Which is more than enough to destroy the one that was damaged previously.
Perfect.
So now there is only one cutting robot left, which is really torn between the two. But I think both because it has measured you and because you delivered the cutting blow, it is going to turn its attention to still on you, Ulfgar.
Bring it on.
So that roll with advantage is a 17 to hit.
Haha, nope.
Okay. So in what might be the last turn here, Eltorin, you are up.
All right, well, I guess I'm right there, right? So I will, Eltorin will, once again, power up his hands and try to grab the robot
All right.
with his shocking grasp. This time an 18.
That hits.
All right, some electric damage, 7.
7. Not enough to destroy it, but perhaps Klaxon, who is up next, can provide the killing blow.
And Eltorn will take a few steps back to make sure he's out range of it.
Okay.
And because it's shocked, it no longer gets reactions. So
Nice.
How far away are they from me? Can I do a ranged attack yet?
Oh, sure. For them, I'll call it about 20 feet.
Okay. I'm going to use guiding bolts.
Nice.
Yes, I think that one
What does
looks
that
pretty.
do?
Fancy stuff. Basically, a streak
Sounds
of
like
light goes towards your thingy thing, and like I don't know. It's cool. It's cool. I'm just gonna. Oh no.
Oh, cool but ineffective.
It would have been
It's a
cool.
flashlight.
Yeah, too much posing, not enough aiming. So it goes wide. Anything else you want to do, Klaxon?
My starry form archer thing is listed under bonus actions. Can I try?
Well, you're already in the Starry Form Archer.
No, I mean the thing.
Oh, to make an attack? No.
Okay, no, then no.
All right.
I'm good.
It is the kobold's turn. They're a little less interested in saving someone they don't know. They retreat to guard the door. So Cauldron, Calden, back to you. It's all right. We're narrators. We get pickups. It's fine.
Cal is ready to take out the last remaining robot, so he's gonna roll, and he's gonna hit. Oh, with advantage.
With
Is that
advantage.
right? With advantage, which is a good thing because the first one was a 4, and the next one will be a. Oh, wonderful! A 5.
it's better.
Yeah,
We're learning to
just
count.
comically kicking your legs in this pile of slime and not able to
Swinging
get
and
anywhere.
missing.
So let's see if Ulfgar, if you can bring it home, or if this robot will get yet another attack against you.
Am I getting skipped?
Yeah, I think it should be.
Oh, you know what I did? I'm
Miss
so sorry. Yes, Miss Korea, you are up.
All right. All right. So I can run and use my scimitar?
100%.
Yay. That is a 13.
A 13 does not hit.
Okay. I do have. Hold on. No, never mind.
Yeah,
wanna use it?
Not
you
gonna
don't
be
have
any-
you don't have another weapon equipped. You got shield. So you,
Not going to give her the
No, but I
flanking,
have
flanking
spells
bonus.
that I could use as a bonus. But I don't
Or,
think I
or
will.
what about the give her the flanking bonus because it's
You
so
know
many
what?
other
Sure.
guys are surrounding
Sure,
it?
somebody's surrounding it. Sure, you can get the flanking bonus. Make the roll with advantage. So make the roll again.
In trouble here.
It is
15.
that hits.
Oh, okay. Ba, ba, ba.
I'm not
And
from
that is a
me.
9.
Oh my gosh.
All right, last remaining robot, Miss Korea. How do you do it?
I get my scimitar. I'm already mad because they tried to take my shield. They almost took my scimitar, so I go both hands in and I go.
Nice. All right, and the thing bursts apart, legs flying, saw blade going dangerously close to Ulfgar's ear as it spins by, but Ulfgar's fine. And you guys are out of initiative. At this point, we took a long way in, right? We had a nice long combat, rolled right over our planned break, but those of you in the chat may or may not know, we audiobook narrators spend all day drinking water, and I will not take a bio break away from my fellow narrators. Let's keep it a short one, though, so we get time to play a little more. But let's take like a 5 to 7 minute bio break here, and
Cal would appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, step aside, and during that break, as we sort of take a quick break, we will get caught up with two familiar faces to Punch and Roll fans. We will stay and have a little chat with Spencer and tonight's special guest, Crystal. So the rest of you go get a break and unhydrate, make up for all that hydration you've been doing during the day, and we will hang out with Spencer and with Crystal for a couple minutes. So,
Hello.
hey! So, chat, if you have questions for Spencer or Crystal, feel free to throw them in there, and I will ask them. But for now, I want to ask you guys, as you are both veteran audiobook narrators and veteran punch and rollers, what is something about the either the audiobook industry or the recording sessions themselves as you work on an audiobook? What's something that you know now that you didn't know when you started? What have you discovered about this art and this business as you've been working through them?
Crystal, would you like kick it quickly over to you so I can
Okay, the
think,
first
and
thing-
you vamp while I...
So, in terms of the industry, I did not have any idea just how kind people are in general. That's something you hear a lot about the audiobook world, but it's true. When I first started, I was alone in my closet and very judgmental of myself and really just was like, I'm just going off of vibes here. I don't know what I'm doing. And then when I first started with my performance coach, Shannon Parks,
Oh, fantastic.
she was just so like, yeah, she's excellent and wonderful. She was basically like, no, you're on the right track here. Let's tweak some things and stuff. And she was my first introduction to like the community, and a wonderful introduction. And then, you know, just getting started on like meeting people on Clubhouse and finally in real life at APAC this year. You know, the things that people say about this community being genuinely kind and genuinely helping each other, I have found thus far in my journey to be true. So
Yeah.
I think that's when one thing I had no clue about when I got started doing this, and it was a very, very pleasant surprise.
Yeah, it
I was gonna
really
say,
is a
that's
fantastic
nice.
community. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what
I
about
met
you?
some good authors as well, by the way, just to add on to that. Like, it's been a delight working with, you know, the people who write the stuff I read. Most of them have been really like phenomenal and good people to just kind of get to know. Sometimes you don't get the chance, but you know, on the times that I have, it's been a delight.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I guess in my case, you know, I entered voiceover initially, aside from a couple little things that I did, into audiobooks. And so, you know, it's a lot slower burn when you when you're getting started than I think a lot of people think it is. And then TikTok or, you know, certain YouTube videos would have you believe. Like, it takes a long time to get going.
Yeah.
If you've been working in the industry for a while, you know, you already have an idea of what it takes to record, what it takes to, you know, get your stuff edited, or, you know, you have some other professionals that you work with and you can command some pretty good rates. But when you start, you know, and I got lucky, but it can be pretty slow going, especially in the first couple books that you do. It's picked up quite a bit, but that was one thing that, you know, you don't expect there to be as much post as there is when it hits you.
Yeah. Yeah, no
in the
doubt.
beginning.
No doubt.
You know, it's nice to have an editor later, but you know, when you're kind of shoestringing it, it's like, oh man, I didn't realize how much noise my mouth makes. I guess I could have led with that one. It makes way more noise than you think it does.
Oh God, yeah, I went through this phase. I imagine most narrators do, where like not only was I hearing every tiny little micro noise my mouth makes, I was hearing everybody's. Like I'd watch TV and I'd be yelling at the TV, like, "How can you let this person on? Can't you hear what their mouths are doing?" And
This is Netflix.
yeah, I eventually realized that means that it's much more okay than we start to think it is.
Right.
But yeah, super hyper aware.
Yeah, it took a long time for me to just go, you know what? It doesn't matter. Nobody's hearing it but me. I'm hearing it.
And if and if your proofer is like, "Oh no, that was a little loud," then you fix it. So I know that both of you have a nice amount of horror work on your resumes. So I wanted to ask you both, what is it about that genre that you find compelling? What draws you to that work? And Crystal, you answered first, so I'm going to let you off the hook for the first answer here. So Spencer, what is it about the horror genre that draws you in?
Yeah, lucky me, because I sort of got an answer off the cuff. Aside from the excitement and the titillating fun, the sort of tension, a lot of the horror that I've done manages to say some pretty profound things about whatever topic it's getting into. And I think horror has a long history of doing that. You know, think about Night of the Living Dead and different types of franchises that will say, okay, you know, we'll set this in a shopping mall. And it's on one hand, it's going to be scary. There's going to be zombies and all that type of stuff. But also we're going to take a stab at, consumer culture and stuff like that. And some of the horror that I've worked on has done the same thing. You know, it doesn't all have to make a statement, but I love the way that horror can also take a critical eye at the society at large in which it's written, and can have some more profound than you think things to say about that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, given the way that it's sort of set up to look at things that are terrible and force you to confront it, 100%. Crystal, what about you?
Honestly, a lot of what Spencer just said is true for me as well. I love it when my fiction has a lot of meat to it and actually says something about the world. I think when I first started getting into horror, like as someone who was like sneaking movies and stuff like that, the thing that I liked about it is that happy endings were not a guarantee. Like I could go into it and I wouldn't know how it was going to end, really and truly, because if people just end up getting off at the end. Sometimes the bad guy wins.
It's on the table.
Yeah, no plot armor.
Yeah, everything is on the table. Like anyone can die, you know? And I liked not being able to tell what was going to happen, because I had been studying story structure for a long time at that point, and on some of these highly structured TV shows and books and stuff, I could tell about a third of the way in how it was going to go down just because of how I understand story structure. So that horror was never guaranteed. I liked that. Like I would have an idea, but I wouldn't ever be able to fully, completely guess. So that's why I started really falling in love with it, in addition to what Spencer said.
Yeah, something to pull a Psycho. You know, I keep referencing movies, but that was crazy when it came out because your protagonist died. And then, at that time, everybody was like, what is happening? We've gone off the rails. And horror can do that in a really cool way sometimes.
Yeah.
And in a kind of pessimistic note, it also feels more real to me, like more true to life, because things don't always turn out. And I know that sounds terrible, but it's also true. Like the submarine people were not rescued.
Yeah.
In a movie, if that was a thriller, they would have been rescued. But
that's right.
Yeah. So sorry, that was kind of a downer. But
no, but I think you're right, and it's like all of the pre-Disneyfied fairy tales are all dark and horrible and bad. Things happen all the time because awful things do happen in life, and those stories can help us prepare a little bit.
There can
for
still be
when
some
those things happen.
catharsis in that.
Yeah,
yeah,
I think so.
even when things don't turn out how you want them to.
Although to shift around to things that are good now and awesome, the chat really wants to know where your cat pillow is, Spencer.
It's in the moving crate. It's in the moving truck. Oh no! So I'm in Kentucky right now. I was in Washington last time you saw me, and the next time you see me, I'll be in Connecticut. But the next time, cat pillow. I'm in a totally different place with none of my belongings. That's why I sound and look like crap right now.
Yeah. So your audiobooks have a much more solid sound quality to them, no doubt.
Crisper than this.
No doubt.
I'm afraid.
And while the chat is insistent that the cat pillow rejoins the stream, by the way. So you got to make it happen. You got 2 weeks. You got to make it happen. I really desperately feel the need to sit here and chat with you guys about different genres for the next hour, but we do have a game to finish up. So let me ask you guys, tell us about a book that you'd like to plug, that you'd like people to go out and listen to. Crystal?
Okay, Crystal, go.
Okay, yeah, we're alternating.
Yeah.
So it just dropped yesterday. It's called Girl Made of Stars by Ashley Herring Blake. Big topic warning on this one. It deals directly with the impact of SA. But it is so well done. The topic is handled very, very tastefully and well, and it's an excellent book about dealing with some pretty serious topics, and it kind of goes true to life too. It doesn't have the happy ending that you really, really want, but it does have a hopeful ending.
That could feel good too. Yeah.
Yeah. And Spencer, what about you?
In my case, I plugged one of my horrors the last time, so let's go. You asked me in the beginning about the start of my audiobook career. The first lucky break I got was The Nothing Mage, which was is a fantasy trilogy about a boy who discovers in a world full of magic, his is unlike any other, and I can't remember how deep into the book stuff is given away, so I don't exactly want to say a lot, but he has a very special and dangerous type of magic, and it's a fantasy trilogy that was a lot of fun to narrate, and it's probably got the most raw type of performance because I was just starting at that time, so I hadn't really, refined my stuff. But sometimes those performances can be really resonating. So
yeah,
check out The Nothing Mage. That was a lot of fun and really broke me into the industry.
Right on. Yeah, everybody give those books a listen. And now, thank you so much, Crystal and Spencer, for forgoing your bio break and sitting here and chatting with us for a little bit.
Yes.
Luckily, we are close enough to 10 o'clock that I don't think you have to suffer for too much longer. Let's pull everybody back into the main screen and resume our game. So there you are, standing amongst the wreck of a bunch of robots that are now just piles of parts, and two remaining kobolds guarding the door. Klaxon, you know this is the entrance to what you think of as the dormitory, and the kobolds are, pivot around on high alert, and then they start looking at you guys, unsure what to do. You are not kobolds, so that's bad. But you destroyed a bunch of the robots, which is good. But you got weapons, and you look like you know how to use them, which is bad. But you're with Klaxon, which is good. So they're going back and forth and not quite sure what to do. What do y'all want to do?
In Draconic, we mean you no harm, or your students. So try to defuse the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
put his weapons away as well.
Yeah, make a persuasion roll, and I'll give you advantage given your ally and the stuff you guys have just done.
Well, 13.
Well, given the situation, I'll let it go. Yeah, so they just see, and they see, especially with the weapons going away, they sheathe their swords and look up, and say in Draconic, "Thank you. Saved us, you did. Klaxon, who are they?"
They are, well, I mean, they want information about the Great One.
Oh.
Yes, I think. Yes. And they may have been misguided at one time. Upstairs, like with the rope thing and but they have destroyed the metal things. And
They are here to help?
are you
Whispers
Calden.
over to like whoever's
Maybe
closest to
offer candied grubs.
They have candied grubs. They are good. They are here to help. Yes.
And at the sound of grubs, they just perk up. Grubs? Grubs? You have grubs? Yes?
Yes, they have grubs.
They quickly come up, sniffing around, trying to figure out who has the candied grubs.
Cal's not sure if he should take them out yet. The situation could escalate.
We certainly
Some
have
will
no.
scooch up to Calden and be like,
Only give half grub. They eat too much.
We certainly have no interest in disrupting the learning of the students here. However, there are certain books that are missing from the library above that we have been tasked with finding.
Certain what?
And books,
What?
knowledge, things stolen from above that we must return.
Book.
Do I have one on me? I
Paper?
don't think I took
Yeah,
one.
Torin's got a journal.
What?
He'll hold up his journal.
Oh.
Oh,
Treasure.
You mean treasure? Why did you not
Treasure.
say this earlier?
Yes, these kinds of treasures are what we are looking for, and it seems you have been taking them to your great one.
Yes,
And
great one.
they're
Like
worth
treasure.
grubs. They're worth grubs, I might add.
Oh. Like grubs. Love great one.
They're
We-
worth a lot of grubs.
We
Make a persuasion roll.
Indeed.
Make a
They're worth
persuasion roll.
Candied grubs. His persuasion roll will be. Oh, it's an 8.
Do not try to bribe our
natural
affection
one.
for the Great One away. We like grubs, but the Great One is our heart. The Great One is our king.
we have no interest in harming or doing anything to the great one, but the treasure must be returned. It was taken without proper authority.
Yes, we understand. Yes, treasure used to be returned and now is not returned.
It was returned before,
Oh, yes.
and so you would take the treasure and then bring it back.
Oh, yes, we
It
would
is-
bring treasure to Great One. And then, eventually, Great One would say, give treasure back. We do not understand. Treasure is good, you keep, but this is what the Great One wanted. As long as we bring new treasure, the Great One would send the treasure back. But lately, and you see him sort of hesitate, like he doesn't really want to talk about this. Lately, things have been bad.
Is there
Sounds like the Great One's looking for something specific
Or
in one
is-
of these treasures.
perhaps something is wrong with the great one, or perhaps someone else is interfering with the great one? Perhaps the great one needs our help.
I do not wish to speak badly of the Great One, but the last year, the Great One has been what's the word in common? Crankful. Crankful? Crankful.
I think I understand.
If you can help Great One, this would make us all happy.
I'm sure we will do
Grubs?
our utmost to try to help the great one, and I'm sure we can spare a few grubs.
Yeah,
Sure
I
you
think
don't.
so.
Save some for yourself, Calden, if you need to.
Cal's thinking about how to ration these grubs. You know what? They've been through enough, and as a matter of fact, I think 2 of them have died. So Cal would like to take out 2 and 2 and 2, and
Okay.
give 2 to the remaining soldiers and a 2 to Klaxon.
All right. Claxon, you've had, I think, 4 grubs now. Make a Constitution saving throw, if you would, please.
Yeah, you better. That's gross.
That's a lot of grub. That's a lot of grub.
as soon as my mouse decides to show back up, I
Oh,
think
no.
it disconnected as I've been sitting here for so long. Get it to disconnect
Oh, no.
again.
Your mouse
Grubs
is making
working.
a statement about how you should be having your candy in moderation.
That's right. That's right. Your mouse is sort of giving the game away here.
It does not want to.
I feel like we're making a
I
PSA
I can get a D20 roll
There
in
it
here.
goes. It just started. It just started. Constitution saving throw.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
This is such a dramatic roll.
14.
Okay, not bad. Yeah, your stomach is a little like there's a lot of grub, but you're able to keep it together. And after quickly scarfing them down, they're eyeing the grubs you have, and they say, "Those. Could you give grubs to others? Children would love grubs."
I'd like to
Maybe
huddle
we
in.
should.
For trade.
Oscar, what do you think? Have they been through a lot here? They
That
just-
seems to
some
be
of
the
them
only
die.
thing that we have to get them to do what we want.
But it is our only.
We can trade for information or anything
right.
else they can provide.
We need to at least get to the Great One and where all the books are by the end of that jar.
You keep
Yeah, that's
using
a
this
good-
word, book. Treasure, I remember
Treasure.
now.
It's treasure.
Yes, come this way. Come this way. We bring you. And they start gesturing you through those double doors.
Cal would like to store carefully the grubs and follow along.
All right.
I have-
Everybody going?
Yep.
Let's go.
All right. So you head down a darkened hallway that is perhaps maybe no more than 5 or 8 feet before it opens up, and you realize you're entering the vom of an auditorium, entering one of those little side passages that come in through the seats, and you look out, and you are in, and there are some lit torches on the wall to provide illumination. You can see a huge auditorium, could probably seat maybe 500-600 people. There's stone benches going up on a rise, being the diagonal ceiling that you saw before was the floor of that rise as it goes up. In front of you, there's a little stage area, and scattered all about are kobolds. Wrapped in sleeping blankets, small kobolds, young children, all the way up to a couple kobolds that are bent over, holding a walking cane. They all sort of have up anything they can hold in their hands as a weapon: tiny little forks, lumpy pillows, anything they can get their hands on, ready for the swarm of mechanical beasts to come through. And then they see you and they all relax a little. So here you are in this auditorium. There's a cooking fire on the side. They have some sort of small animal roasting in a room now full of maybe 70 kobolds staring at you, and you're staring back at them. And that's where we're going to end tonight, as you've clearly moved into some sort of larger narrative than you thought you were getting into, a narrative that we will pick up in 2 weeks' time. Thank you, everybody, for hanging with this adventure. This was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Good show.
Yeah. We will be back, everybody, in 2 weeks' time. We want to say thanks again to PANA, the Professional Audiobook Narrators Association. Learn more about them at pronarrators.org. In the meantime, please keep these fantastic, fabulous narrators in your ear. Remember Ray's outstanding introduction to this episode? Think what a book would be like with Ray narrating. It'd be amazing.
Too right.
Go get Crystal's book. Go get Spencer's book. And Ray, what
Thank
book
you.
of yours shall they go listen to?
I think I was going to plug one of my latest releases, which is a nonfiction book called Back Valley Ferrets. It is about the black-footed ferret, which is an endangered species that was once thought extinct, and the author is someone who is involved in trying to save and restore the black-footed ferrets. And the interesting part is, for a nonfiction, it is a incredibly personal narrative written from the first person, not only talking about his experience experience trying to save the ferret, but also his personal experience of trying to become a father and his relationship. So I was very surprised going into it just how intimate the book really is from this author, and I really enjoyed reading it, and I think it is one that, especially for environmentally minded people who care about nature and our world, is one that would be very interesting to listen to.
Fantastic. And Lauren, what book have you got for us to hear more of you?
Yeah, I plugged Madison Meyer mystery series box set, books 1 through 3, because book 8 is in review right now. So
yeah, get listening now, and then pick up the rest when it drops. Yeah. Jeremy, how about you?
I've got another lit RPG. It's called Systemic Lands. This one's very dark and gritty. There's a lot of people that die that seem like they're going to be around for a while, and then they just die.
Well, we have professed our love for that.
Very much an anti-hero is our main character, but
Fantastic.
it was a lot of fun.
Oh, that sounds great. And I will kick in with a book called Endless Winter, which is a thriller, nearly a 28-hour-long story of a group of people who sort of find a way to become a found family as they are surviving a massive ecological disaster. It's a lot of fun to narrate and a lot of fun to listen to. Thank you, everybody watching, for coming and watching us play, and thank you for coming and joining this story. Thank you to Crystal for coming and storytelling. I love Claxon. I wish Claxon were going to be with us for the whole time. But are we going to be seeing you again for when the fall season kicks around?
Yes, I am planning to return.
Fantastic. So we'll see more of Crystal after Beneath the Library. That's too many prepositions. But we will be seeing Crystal again on Punch and Roll. Thank you, everybody, for coming joining in. We will be back in 2 weeks with another installment of Punch and Roll Beneath the Library. Bye.
Be there.
Bye.
Have a good night.